Thank you to Policy Genius for sponsoring today's video.
If you have anyone relying on your income, you need life insurance. It's that simple. Policy Genius makes it easy to get life insurance done and done right.
Life insurance gives us peace of mind that if something happens to us, that our loved ones will have a financial cushion to pay for things like rent, their loans, education costs, and everyday expenses. Typically, life insurance can get more expensive as you get older. Be smart and lock in a policy sooner rather than later. Getting started is easy. Click the link in the description or head to policygenius.com/redpoppyranch and answer a few questions about yourself. In a few minutes, you can work out how much life insurance coverage you need and compare personalized quotes to find your best price. You could save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. Policy Genius works for you, not the insurance companies, so you can trust them to offer unbiased advice and help you navigate every step of the shopping and buying process. When you're ready to apply, the Policy Genius team will handle the paperwork and scheduling for free.
Head to policygenius.com/redpoppyranch to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. I try to gather my information on what's going on around the world by using a number of different sources, none of them being any sort of a mainstream news organization. And while we're definitely having our own crazy weather here, one of the podcasts that I regularly listen to talked a lot about the tornadoes that are happening in the month of December. And in some cases, there is record that this has never happened before. I'll talk about this a little bit more later on, but I have used more gas in the plow truck so far this year than I used the entire year last year. It seems that the unpredictable weather is going the same way as everything else, and not even the weather knows when it's going to stop. One of the single best parts about our YouTube channel is the simple fact that we get to interact with people, meaning you, in ways we never would have before. We get to hear what's happening in your part of the world, wherever you happen to be. While on the way to church this morning, my old first-gen Dodge truck, I'm guessing the fuel filter froze completely. It ran for a while. I was able to drive a good part of the way into town, and Cedar was ahead of me in her Jeep, and my truck finally stalled and sitting on the side of the road in town. it had to have gotten down to probably 5 or 6 below last night, and I'm guessing all 3 of our diesels, other than the Jeep, probably wouldn't start right now. So I think the fuel has gelled up completely. We're gonna go try and find some place that's open, because the one thing I don't have is some anti-gelling, you know, the Power Diesel 911 or something like that. So hopefully we can get my truck started. Okay, we managed to get some Diesel 911 from the gas station. I'm supposed to dump half of the fuel filter, should be full of this, and then the rest in the fuel tank. And it's 5 degrees right here. Sun's shining bright, but it is bone chill and cold. And on our way to get this, Rhett and I saw probably 6, half dozen diesels with hoods up doing the same thing. The fuel filter doesn't look frozen. My fear is that it's frozen between the tank and the fuel filter. But I have a new fuel filter, so I'm going to change it out anyway. There's a mechanical lift pump on this truck, and I think it may be failing. Rhett and I changed out the fuel filter on Friday or Saturday when it first gelled up, thinking that would help. And he's been losing. It's acting like there's air in the system, and there may still be a little bit. But Cedar's asking about my about these old Fords. But my dad, the truck that I drove in high school, was my dad's truck that me and my brother shared, and it was a 1980 F100 that my grandpa bought brand new. One of the very first dates we went on, I was driving my dad's old truck, and my grandpa put basically Add-A-Leaf springs on the rear of that truck, because he put either 2 or 3 extra gas tanks on that truck so he could drive it from Arizona to Alaska during the summers and work in the fish processing plants there. And he was a school teacher during the year, so that truck was stiff. The suspension was stiff, and there was an intersection that if you timed it just right and you happened to get a green light at just the right time, you just might get a little air between the tires and the asphalt. And I forgot to tell Cedar what we were doing. I assumed she knew.
Well, you had the steering wheel to hold on to, and I was just like, I don't know, bouncing along.
She's sitting right next to me. We hit that intersection, and Cedar hit her head on the roof of the truck, and I scrunched down, and she hit her head on the roof, and she's been reminding me about it ever since.
That was back before seatbelts were like
nobody wore
thing
seatbelts
either. So now I wear my seatbelt, especially driving with heat.
And then we have a weather advisory. We could wake up tomorrow morning to at least 6 inches of snow and 40+ mile-an-hour winds, which means the underlayment I'm about to put down on the roof has to be nailed off well enough where it's not going anywhere, because the tin doesn't show up. Doesn't get here for 2 more days. So it'll be a fun day. So I have now convinced myself that maybe the gelling in the diesel caused the old mechanical fuel pump to fail, or the mechanical fuel pump failed and there was no gelling in the fuel going on. But what I did do is, a couple of months back, I looked into upgrading the 1st gen Cummins mechanical lift pump to the 2nd gen lift pump. and I have all the parts to do this. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on it. There's a whole lot of videos about how to do it. But what I'm hoping happens is not only does the truck run better after taking care of this, but if nothing else, I guess I know I've got a brand new fuel pump, and it's warm enough today where the fuel should not be gelling, and it's been sitting for 2 days with that diesel 911 in the fuel tank and the fuel filter. So I'm going to start by changing out this fuel pump. By interacting with you, wherever you happen to be in the world, we get to hear firsthand what in fact is going on. I don't need to hear a curated version from a source just because it's on a TV. And because of this, I'm fairly certain that the weather is abnormal everywhere, whether it's record snow or record drought. Here's the culprit. A typical mechanical fuel pump. I'm fairly confident this is the problem. Really, our only option is to be as prepared as we possibly can be for whatever may come our way. And this gets back to our new plow truck. I've got to know that when I go to start that truck, that it's going to start, that it's going to be dependable, and even if we get 2 or 3 or 4 times more snow than we're supposed to get, I can handle it. My wheels and tires showed up for my first gen Dodge Cummins. So of course I ran to town and picked them up because we got to look good when we're doing all this stuff. But in the meantime, I didn't get the roof dried in, and we're going to get 6 inches of snow at least tonight. So that means I get to work late. There's a few things that I will do to that new F350 just to make sure that it's going to be dependable when I need it. Because I chose to go to town and pick up my wheels and tires, I've now put myself under pressure, and I've got to get the roof dried in before the snow comes. I ordered the pieces of tin that I will need for the back of the shop, but they haven't arrived yet. But by getting the roof officially dried in, we should be okay. I may have to get up there and sweep it off one more time to get the tin installed, but that's no big deal. I enjoy working on cars when I want to work on cars. Shocking, I know. I hate it when stuff unexpectedly breaks down. The fuel pump going out on my old first gen Dodge, combined with problems with Rhett's truck, combined with the fact that I really need to be working on the F350, getting the new plow mounted to it, combined with the fact that the back roof's not done. As Rhett has been working on the shop, helping me get it organized, naturally it's much easier to get things done in there. So as much as I would love to be tearing the cab off of my son's wrecked second gen Dodge Cummins, it's probably not going to happen for a while. Now one might respond by saying, you wouldn't have to work on trucks if you bought something newer. Unfortunately, I like these old trucks, and if it requires me working on them from time to time just to keep them on the road, I'll do it. So once the tin is installed on the back of the roof here, I will then have to dig out the generator. I will then have to run the conduit to run the wire to tie the generator into the existing sub panels that are in the house. Once that's done, I still have to find a propane source. I do not have a source of propane at the moment for that generator, but I have something in mind. Then I'll get on the phone with Nick with Generation Systems, and he'll talk me through a startup, or maybe I'll have him come up and help me with it firsthand. And then we have a 20 kilowatt backup generator instead of the 8 kilowatt that we're currently running. Okay, I'm now going to try and pump it and fill the fuel filter up with fuel. There it is. So I'll continue to play around with my old first gen Dodge Cummins, and I'll play around with it and try and get it into the 21st century. But deep down, I know none of my trucks are as comfortable or as powerful or as beautiful as having a new Dodge Cummins would be. But I will say all of these trucks are paid for. And in my opinion, they have more character. Don't tell my wife I said that. Okay, I know that we have fuel to the filter, and I know that new fuel pump works, so I'm going to open the garage door and see if I can't get this truck to start.
So, this is my 96 Power Stroke, my new project truck we went and picked up. It's been having some trouble starting, so me and my dad figured that while we have the time here on winter, that we're gonna do the glow plugs and valve cover gaskets and thermostat and fuel pump and just about everything you can think of. So I'm just gonna start the disassembly process here, and then we're gonna go from there.
Okay, I'm going to go do a pass real quick on the road, and then I'll come back. So you're gonna unhook both of those fuel lines. We're gonna replace every piece of rubber.
Those two right there.
Let's see if any fuel comes out. Okay. Any fuel? Nothing. Other side?
I wanted it to go away. I felt the weight of it all come down.
Closed. So they pushed back the school start for our kids about 2 hours. So I got to get the road cleaned up before Cedar takes them to school. And of course, Ruby ran off.
Got nothing to worry about when you're by my side. I got nothing to worry about when you're by my side.
I was sitting in there working on my computer, editing some video, and the front part of the house, all the snow slid. And we're kind of right in between storms right now. I've been plowing snow all day. It's real warm. It's probably 35 degrees right now. And we're about to get into another storm for the next 3 days. But this side of the house is more north facing, and it normally doesn't slip. It normally holds the snow for a long time. I've used more fuel in the plow truck so far this year than I did the entire year last year. So if it keeps going like this, we're going to get some serious quantity. But this particular snow that just came down was really heavy and wet, and it's not the funnest snow to work with. But my light's still hanging on up there. Hopefully it can withstand the inches. It's getting a little bit built up on it.